Hello, all you degenerate old schoolers, and welcome back to another episode of The Orb. It may be fall outside, but things sure are heating up here in the old school video community. This is video number 1 from the Midwest Thrash Bash, and we have Spencer to thank. He's our sponsor. He's been riding me like the Christmas pony to get these videos out. So, a huge thanks to this guy, Dave Gura, for putting this on. We know he throws in a ton of work, like any sponsor of an old school event, and things go seamlessly. There's him winning his Chaos Sword patch, and here is the venue we played in. It was the Studebaker Mansion, located in South Bend, Indiana. Kind of an upscale retreat for us degenerate old school players, but we fit right in and left the place in relatively good shape for the day. So some AAA was played at the bar the night before Alpha Do Alliance's ante. The Ebon hand guys brought some power that we could slide into our decks. I'm going to link in a podcast that they did about Thrash Bash down in the comments below. There's some cards I won. There's the crew of the Ebon hand, and actually Rom or Romulus, I hope his real name is Romulus, he goes by Rom, is in match number 1, so we're going to be taking a look at his decks since I drove over and see what he was up to. So here's a look at the first match's decks. This is Rom's deck. Rom alters his own power. Those are all his drawings. They are quite sick. And we can see this is a Burn Goblin deck, but it's got a bit of a twist to it. I was speaking with the deck creator. His name's Eric, another Ebon hand guy, and it was late at night. We'd gotten back from the bar, and he was super excited to tell me about this Goblin raiding party magical hack combo that was going to blow everyone's minds tomorrow. And lo and behold, I do have a video of that combination being pulled off on this channel, and I mentioned that. I think he might have been a little heartbroken. But man, A+, because people are still out there cramming together cool old school ideas, and they may or may not be have done before. I mean, we're playing with 30-year-old cards, but when you pull them off and you take them to a tournament and you show off like this, high fives all around. So these kind of decks get me super excited. So I think I said goblins earlier, but I meant orcs. And here's a look at Raiding Party. It's an enchantment, 3 colorless, 1 red to cast from Fallen Empires, 3 total. And first thing it says, Raiding Party may not be the target of white spells or effects, so fuck all your disenchants. This thing is staying on the board unless you come up with a Tranquility. And then you sacrifice an orc to destroy all planes, and your opponent can prevent that those planes from being destroyed by tapping white creatures. And then here we go with Magical Hack. And the hack lets you change the word plains to, say, swamps if your opponent's playing all black. The only time this doesn't really work or kind of comes back to haunt you is if your opponent's playing all red and you have to name mountains. It kind of turns itself into a one-way Armageddon. So we are playing a 4-strip format. We do play Eternal Citadel rules here for this event. We can see, again, got a pretty well full pile of burn, some juggernauts, and then, again, a myriad of orcs. It does have the 4-strip mines, also has 4 factories, and a bunch of good cards in the sideboard, including Blood Moons, Red Elemental Blast, Blue Elemental Blast, Psychic Purges, and Shatters. Now let's take a look at his opponent's deck. Kevin, also Rom, A+ for the deck photo here. Way to go above and beyond. So here's a look at his round 1 opponent's deck. Kevin. Kevin's playing black-red. Immediately, down in the bottom right, we can see Rhuk Egg. Rhuk Egg excites me. Out of Arabian Nights, 4 to put it on the board, 3 colorless, 1 red. And if that Rhuk token goes to the graveyard, you get a giant 4/4 flying red bird back at the end of the turn. Gotta love that. He's playing with some fairly serious cards. Of course, he's got the Dark Ritual Hypnotic Spectre. That's a pretty good combo on its own. He does have the discards with the Hymn to Torox. 4 discs to level the board, Sedge Trolls, Bolts, and a couple Fireballs, 1 Earthquake, and then some black cards, the Demonic Tutor and the Mind Twist. Just on-colored Moxen for him with a Lotus. Only found room for 3 Strip Mines and 3 Mishra's Factories, myriad of other lands, and then in his board, he's running Glooms, Paralyze, 3 red elemental blasts, another Hymn, a few cards that are altered, I'm not sure what they are, Shatterstorm, and a couple Shatters. So, again, a very good looking deck. Can't wait to see round number 1. So Rom won the chicken lassoing competition. He is on the play. A quick look at his hand is Factory, 1 Magical Hack, 2 Juggernauts, a Wheel of Fortune, Psyblast, and a Volcanic Island. Kevin will be on the draw as he did not lasso that chicken in. You can see he has a myriad of black cards and some red cards. I believe a Wheel's in there, a Lightning Bolt, a Ruby, possibly a Hymn. Rom leads off with a Mishra's Factory and a pass. His opponent finds a Badlands and just a pass back. Rom shows up with a Volcanic. Neither of these players off to super fast starts. Oh, here we go. First Hymn to Torok. It's always so painful. What an efficient 2 for 1. I think black is extra good in Eternal Central. He hits a Psyblast. Oh, and a Wheel of Fortune. Wheel's a great way to get right back from that Hymn to Torok. Unfortunately, it's found the bin. Kevin plays out a Ruby on top of it, so he is ramping a little bit. Rom does find his 3rd mana source, Mountain. And just a pass. Oh, Kevin finds another Hymn to Torok. This is painful. Rom's getting cleaned out here. Pulls a City of Brass and a Juggernaut. Again, some terribly painful 2 for 1s. The first Strip Mines hit the board. Again, with these EC formats, nothing is off limits. Raiding Parties hit the board, and Rom's opponent says, "What the fuck is that thing? I'm not even playing with planes." Kevin takes a good read of the card. And after the Raiding Party hits the board, Rom just passes. And Kevin shows up with a Hippie. So that's kind of a nightmare. I know Rom wants to delete some of the mana, but he's going to have to deal with that 2/2 flyer so he doesn't lose his hand. Looks like he's magical hacking his Raiding Party. I'm sure he's naming swamps at this point. Throws down an Ironclaw Orc. So the combo has hit the board. I am excited. I can't wait to see this thing go off. I mean, if you're Kevin, you really have to question what to do here, especially if you have more land in your hand. The Hippie's coming in. Rom does lose his Juggernaut, and the first blood of the game is in. Rom drops to 18. Kevin taps 3 for a Sedge Troll. And that Sedge Troll is skating on thin ice. Here we go. 1 Orc for 2 Swamps. Well, a Swamp and a Badlands, but Badlands also counts as a swamp. Bad news is Rom's kind of been cleaned out. He is sticking his factory in for 2. He plays an island and then a pass. So, I mean, he has effectively taken his opponent off colored mana sources, minus that ruby. Bad news is Sedge Troll's sticking in for 2, Hippie's sticking in for 2. Rom drops down to 14 life. Oh, we do have an Orc in play. It is an Orcish Spy, which is super sexy. Oh, Rom sends his factory in. He gets bolted. And that Mishra's factory unfortunately did not stand a chance. But Rom does land that Orcish Spy. He can tap. It's a 1/1 Orc. He can tap and look at the top 3 cards of the library of his opponent, or even his. They just have to go back in the same order they came out in. We see the Orcish Spy taking a peek at his opponent's cards, and we can see his opponent's going to draw a mountain and a Badlands. I couldn't catch that 3rd card or the next card up. But his opponent's kind of limited there. He's going to have to deal with that Orcish Spy, otherwise he's going to lose all black mana sources again. The bad news is Rom is on a clock, and he just took another 4 to the face, yeah. So he's down to 6 life. We can see he's doing another magical hack here. Not for sure on what he chose, but nonetheless it was played. Rom peels off a City of Brass. That doesn't help him a whole lot. See what his opponents do. His opponent does. I know he's got some burn in hand. Yeah, here comes the team in. Rob's blocking the Sedge Troll, but taking 2 and dropping to 4 life. Oh, brutal. Here comes another Sedge Troll. Now they're 3-3 because there is a Badlands in play. And, oh, Strip Mine, that's not going to help him. Yeah, game number 1 goes off to Kevin with a Sedge Troll and Hippie Pile. So Rom and Kevin swapped out some cards. Here we go with game number 2. Kevin's up 1-0. Rob leading out with the City of Brass. And there's his hand. We can see a Time Walk. And then a myriad of blue and red cards. Oh, Kevin's showing his own combo. Swamp, Dark Ritual, a Hippie. And we can see he's got a City of Brass, Bolt, Soul Ring. And I believe a Strip Mine in there. So Rom showing off his Time Walk that he altered in. He goes to 19 by tapping his City of Brass. Unfortunately, my camera shakes. The good news is, for future videos, after LobsterCon, I just bought a new stand. And I should be able to take out some of the shakiness. I swear that's not me holding it. Rom is tapping things, including the City of Brass. Oh, for a Side Blast, that's a way to answer. That's a way to answer that Hypnotic Spectre and not lose any life. But he does take another 2 from the Side Blast. His opponent using a city of his own, and back-to-back turn 2 him to Torox. That's a tough mess to deal with. Oh, Psychic Purge, way to fucking win, Rom. Dang, dude. Gotta love Psychic Purge in the board, and it's even better when your opponent starts ripping them out of your hand. Kevin takes 5 to the face. Drops to 14. And those Psychic Purges are spectacular dealing with Pump Knights. Rom's aiming for the mana base of his opponent. Look at this. Strip Mines of City Brass followed by a Time Twister. Both of them give a quick shot of their new hands. I do see a Rhuk egg. Love the spice coming out of Kevin. I think Rom picked up another Psychic Purge. Kevin finding a Mountain of Mox and a Sedge Troll. Sedge Troll's running naked though. 3/3, but no mana out there to regenerate him. Rom throws down a Mountain. Taps one for Psychic Purge on the Sedge Troll. Oh no, it's 2 Psychic Purge on the Sedge Troll. Yeah, that Sedge Troll is a 3/3. There we go. He removes the swamp. Sedge Troll drops to 2/2, and those double Psychic Purges kill off that Sedge Troll. He also plays out a Soul Ring. I love the art on the Soul Ring. And a Black Vice, and takes a point to the face for some mana burn. Both players are on 14. Kevin's dropping a 13 in his upkeep from the Black Vice. He finds a Badlands. Dark Ritual, and Rhuk egg is on the board. Just a 0/3 lonely little Rhuk out there trying to find his way in life. Waiting to be killed is actually what's going to happen. Rom does find a Mishra's Factory, and he plays out a second Black Vice. Taps 4 for a Juggernaut. Okay, so some heat has hit the board. Bad news is Juggernaut has to attack, and Rhuk egg wants to die on its own. At least every Rhuk egg owner is rooting that it dies. Mostly because once it goes to the graveyard, Mama Rhuk comes into play, 4/4 flying. Kevin doesn't even play anything out, just passes back to Rom. Yeah, Rom sets up his factory, turns his 2 creatures sideways. Rhuck's getting tossed right in front of the Juggernaut, and the Mishra's Factory has been strip mined out. This smells like big business. Kevin can't wait to throw the 4/4 Rhuk token into play. I don't blame him. Looks like Rom plays out a Time Walk. Kevin does get his Rhuk token at the end of that turn. Rom is Time Walking. Juggernaut's going to get to come in again here. Get to, have to, something's happening. Yeah, and a bolt for Juggernaut. One of Juggernaut's biggest downsides is he takes bolts to the face. And falls to the bin. So Kevin is swinging in with his 4/4 Mother Rhuk, knocking Rom down to 10, and look at this, he plays out a disc. What a way to clear a board. I did have to do a little extra editing, but the video is correct. Rom accidentally picked up his Time Twister earlier. Pure accident. He played Time Walk, thought it was Time Twister. Anyways, board's right. Rom shoots down An Icy Manipulator. Upkeep. He's going to use the Icy, lose a life, but he's tapping down that 4/4 flyer, and rightfully so. Rom's tapping 2, finds an Ironclaw Orc. So Ironclaw's a threat again. Rom is losing 1 point a turn by activating that Icy. He is down to 8 now. His opponent's on 13, so this Ironclaw's going to be able to sneak in and do some damage here soon. Yeah, here comes the Ironclaw. Kevin drops to 11. Ron taps 3 for a 1/1 Orcish mechanic. Yes, I just had to go look that up. That Orcish mechanic can tap. You can sacrifice an artifact, and it does 2 damage to any target. Way to go with the sexy orcs. His opponent does come up with a Sedge Troll, though. That may be a problem. And he may be even more inclined to blow the disc. Let's see if he can sneak some damage in there with the Orcish mechanic. Board state's gotten kind of wide. Using the Icy to tap down the Sedge Troll. Sends the Ironclaw in for 2. And does still have the Orcish mechanic online. Guess leaves it back for a blocker. Kevin drops to 9. Rom's on 7, but here comes the team. Oh, that's it. Sedge Troll and the 4/4 bird fly in for lethal damage. What a round number 1. Glad we got to see some awesome spice out there showing up to this tournament. Congratulations to Kevin for winning, and as always, thanks for watching The Orb.